Hey, welcome to the after sermon where we get a chance to sit down with whoever the communicator was this weekend and talk about a few other things maybe that weren't part of the sermon. So I'm here with Pastor Doug. We launched a brand new series.
We did.
Next is Now. And one of the things that I loved about, one, your story, amazing. If you haven't listened to this message, you have to go to YouTube, listen to it on the podcast. Your story's amazing. But you talked a lot about sports, and I think the metaphor you used was
Running the race.
Yeah. Tell me, like, when you began thinking about this first part of this really monumental series.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's sort of like a dividing line, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why was that the metaphor that was in your mind?
Well, that's a great question, Eric. Lots of reasons for it. Obviously, first of all, the scriptures talk about it a lot. I ran when I was a kid a lot. I can't run now because of my knee. But I like running. I used to really enjoy to run, but yet I know it can feel like, especially for me personally, this is 20 years. Like, wow, it's a long time to run, and yet we're not even close to being done running. We have so much to do, and God is on the move in such powerful ways. And his invitation for us to be part of what's happening next, in this next is now moment for us, we need to keep running. We don't slow our pace. Perhaps even our pace quickens, and there's work to be done. And so I like the idea, especially when we think about others that have gone before us, that have handed us the baton, and they were faithful in their leg of the race, and now we must be faithful in ours.
When you think back, because this is in so many ways a moment in time where we are reflecting back and looking back.
Yeah.
Right? The last 20 years of ministry has led to this 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So if you use the handoff, the baton analogy, when you think back the last 20 years, what's something like that comes to mind? Like, what is it that you reflect back over the last 20 years? How do you feel about the last 20 years?
It feels like God's invitation for Beth and I and our family, and for those that said yes in the early days to be part of this, was there's a lot of nebulous future. We didn't know what the future held.
Yep.
We just knew what we were supposed to do right now. And I as I look back, I think we didn't get it right every time, but we just try and be faithful. We try and do what God's called us to do, and then we see him step in such powerful ways and meet us at our points of need over the years, and creating and helping our church to have this opportunity that we're at today. And then I look back and I think of just the countless numbers of people that kept saying yes to be a part of this. And then as we look back, it's just fun to think about everyone that would say, I had a little part to play in that. And here we are today celebrating so many amazing things God has done. And I really prayed that about Charles and Fair this weekend. They came and prayed us out at the end. I wanted them to feel a sense of, even though they've been gone now for a number of years, to come back and see wow, look what God is doing. And I was part of that. And I want them to still feel part of it, that the foundation that's been laid continues today. And we need to be reminded of that looking forward into the future, that this is inspirational. This is great. And because people said yes, we can say yes. And we have no idea at this point what our yes is fully going to mean. It's likely going to take all eternity to unpack it all, to hear the story after story of how God has used the ministry of Plum Creek and Plum Creekers to make a difference in the lives of others, that whole changing lives. It's going to be fun one day to, have our own little spot somewhere in heaven where we get a chance to hear all those stories. It's going to be incredible. And so I just want to keep going, man. I don't want to coast. I want with passion to lead into the future of what God is calling us to, and next is now.
What do you, when you think back of what you've learned? Because it is an interesting thing. So often when we, I say this often, we forget the things we should remember, right? Mm-hmm. When you think back, as a leader, as a pastor, especially as you're looking forward, what's one thing you've learned in this last season that will transfer to the next?
Yeah, it's such a good question. And it's not just about, Plum Creek corporately, it's about our lives privately too. And I would say this, as much as God was calling, Doug to come with his family to start a church, he was going to build something great, but he also wanted to build me. And I wouldn't be the person I am today had I said no. And because I said yes, the lessons learned, the things that were part of this, and it's epic that we've been part of Plum Creek to this stage. But when I look back, I think of all the ways that God has continued to develop me into the man, the follower of Jesus, the husband, the daddy, the grandpa now, and pastor, leader that I am. It's because of all of the experience we've had before. So he's faithful. I will tell you that he's faithful. The things I used to worry about, I don't worry about anymore. Like,
Yeah.
there's times it'll creep up. I'm like, no, I got a track record here. I can look back and see. I don't need to worry. Like, we need to do some big things in the next couple of years here, and it's going to require, there's a cost to it. I don't get overwhelmed with that because I know God will provide. That's what he always has done. And I think of the ways that God's provided in so many ways for the leadership team that we have and the people that say yes. And that, here's the deal. It's fun to do this.
Yeah.
It's fun to do this together. And is it work? Yeah. Is it hard? Sure. Are there days when it's overwhelming? Absolutely. But we're doing it together. And to know you're part of something bigger than yourself, it's awesome, man. It's really great.
I would love for you to stop and really talk just briefly as we wrap up about what your hope is for those of us that call this place home. What's your hope in this next season?
Well, I hope there's a deep sense of excitement about what God's about to do and that what he's already doing and that we're going to build on the past, but that the future is where we're running towards a place and an opportunity to expand impact, to make a greater difference. And I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed about what's coming next, but a deep sense of expectation and a passionate desire to say, yes, this is our season. This is my chance to run this race and I'm going to be in. I won't miss it. And so when we think about the process, just like I described, it's not just about building to the next thing for Plum Creek, but it's about what God's going to do in everyone's lives individually, mine too, as we say yes to walking this next experience or running this next experience. And we're going to look back years from now and remember these days where we walked this path, hearing from God, learning to obey, following his lead. And because we did that, there are thousands of people that have had a chance to hear the gospel message. And Lord willing, they'll choose to say yes to Jesus and we'll spend eternity together.
I love that because I think in this next season, the thing I keep thinking about, because I want you to end with that phrase that Bob often says.
Yeah.
But I think too often we get fixated on, this is about a building. It's really not about a building. What it really is about is just space.
Yeah.
Like, because you need a space for people to hear the gospel. They have to hear, right? They can't believe if they haven't heard.
Exactly.
And all this is space. It's just a reflection that there are people who are hungry to know the way of Jesus. And if we make space, more people will know that. And it doesn't just change their life.
Mm-hmm.
It changes everybody else around them. So
awesome.
You say that last phrase before we wrap up. That I just love.
It's not a building. It's a tool for ministry. That's what this is. It's an opportunity. It's a hub. Yeah. And we know the ministry goes far beyond even the four walls and roof that we have. Yeah. And we know there's more people than ever. Yeah. And I love that. I love that because influence grows. Yeah. But the reason I love it is because every number has a name and every name has a story. Yep. And every story needs Jesus.
Every story.
That's why we do what we do.
That's why we do what we do. I love it. Well, listen, if you want to hear the whole message, which you want to hear this whole message, I promise you, you can go to our YouTube page and watch it there, or go to any of the podcasting platforms that you choose, the one that you listen to, download the Plum Creek podcast and listen to that message and catch up with messages in the past. Thanks for coming in.
You bet.
Love you guys. Bro. Love you. Bye.